Hi, my name is Dion Livingston. I'm the Regional Vice President for the stations of Radio One. And we're so excited that you joined us for our business seminars today. This seminar is titled Structuring Your Business for Opportunities. It's moderated by Karen Vaughn and features Camille Blunt, the Director of the Office of Minority and Women Business Development, Tasha Roberts, Managing Partner of Roberts Litigation Group, Carolyn Mosby, President and CEO of Mid-States Minority Suppliers Development Council.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Karen Vaughn, and welcome to our Virtual Business Connections brought to you by INHP. We can't wait to dive in, structuring your business for opportunities. I am speaking with some power women in the city. They're going to help you maximize your opportunities for your business. So let's bring the ladies in. Camille Blunt is joining us, the Director of Office of Minority and Women Business Development for the City of Indianapolis. Welcome. We have Tasha Roberts, Managing Partner of the Roberts Litigation Group.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And Carolyn E. Mosby, President and CEO of Mid-States Minority Supplier Development Council. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's great to have the three of you here, three power ladies in the city that, you know, we need you right now. There are many people that launched businesses in 2020. Many had to pivot and transition their business in 2020. And, you know, those that are just starting or starting over, you know, the goal is to help them set up their business for success, but then maximize it, you know, and really just take advantage of the opportunities that are there. Now, before we get to the opportunities, we have to make sure that we set our business up for success. So that setup is important. So let's talk about the difference between LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp. And if Tasha, if you can break that down for everyone.
That's a great question, Karen. So an LLC, which is very, very popular right now, is a limited liability company. And so therefore the income is given to the members and the members are taxed. An S corporation is where the income is given out to the shareholders and the individual shareholders are taxed. Then you just have the plain company where the company itself is taxed and then the money goes to the shareholders afterwards.
Okay. Now, is there a particular setup that works best for small businesses or business size or employees, or is it just really up to the product or service or individual?
It's really up to the individual. I like to think of when someone says they want to form a company, it's usually we say a large company, think Ford Motor Company. Usually small businesses, we would recommend an LLC. However, you want to choose the right business structure because whatever business structure you choose could have potential tax and legal liabilities. And at that time, I say it's best just to contact a lawyer.
Absolutely. Now, what's the difference between and when someone's deciding like, okay, I want to set up a corporation.
Okay.
S Corp or C Corp? What are some of the benefits? What are some of the challenges?
Well, that depends on how their taxes are run. So that's when you want to have your accountant talk to your lawyer and they will discuss between themselves what is the best tax advantageous for you.
Gotcha. So if one, you know, typically goes with an LLC, you know, that you stated that many small businesses opt towards, how do you register and set up your LLC in the state of Indiana?
Okay. Well,
What do you do? Where do you go?
Sure. So the first thing is you want to choose a name. And once you choose your name, you want to look on the Indiana Secretary of State's website to make sure that name is not taken. Also, you want to think about if you want to have an internet presence for your business. So once you register your name at the Indiana Secretary of State's office, that's when you want to consult with a lawyer because the lawyer is going to be the best person to help you decide whether you want to have an LLC or another type of business. Once you register that and you pay the fees, you then essentially have your name. Then at that point, you want to register your name on the domain, and you want to make sure that you own that domain. And that's simply just by paying for it on the web. And then that way you have your company set up legally and you have your name presence out there that no one else can use.
What about social media as it ties into, building your digital brand? You have your website, many have IG pages and they have a link tree that's in their bio that, states their website and other social media platforms, or maybe their YouTube channel. So should one also, when they are solidifying their URL, maybe through a GoDaddy, that they're also making sure that they have their name set up through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Correct. But that also goes back to, number one, registering your name with the Indiana Secretary of State's office. That way you're protecting your brand. No one else can use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And does trademark or copyright come into that as well?
Yes, it does. But like I said, once you register your name with the Indiana Secretary of State's office, no one else can use it. Now, when someone talks about trademarking or patenting something, that's more of a product.
Okay.
But as for your name and your brand, Indiana Secretary of State's office.
Excellent. Okay. And then, we have our LLC set up. We did all of our paperwork. We have our name. We have our digital assets as well. Somewhere in there, we need to make sure we have a bank account set up. Are there certain bank accounts, for business? Many banks, they all say, hey, we have a great business account. Is there something in particular one should look out for?
Well, I mean, it all depends on the type of business you have. But if you go to your bank and you develop a relationship with the bank manager, they'll show you which account or which type of account is best for you in your business.
Gotcha. And is there a certain time that one should establish business credit in the beginning, or is there a certain time within the business unfolding and developing and, of course, making a profit, should one establish their business credit?
Sure. You establish the business credit by getting an ETIN number from the Internal Revenue Service. And this all goes back to registering your business on the Indiana Secretary of State's office. Once you have your business registered, you would go to the irs.gov website, and it says obtain an ETIN number. You would fill out the information based on the same information that you put in for the Indiana Secretary of State's office. They'll send you an ETIN number, and then that way, by using that on all your business accounts, purchasing products, just about everything, you'll start to develop credit. Awesome.
It's about making sure that you take the right first steps to set up.
Exactly, Carolyn. And one of the things too, to make sure you have the first right steps, is to be able to find the right lawyer. There are so many lawyers out there, and we all have different personalities. So it's important that a business finds a lawyer that they are comfortable with, and that lawyer has experience in business law and business matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Because throughout the conversation, you've talked about filling out paperwork, where to go fill it out. There may be a signature or a check that you did not, check off, to have, a lawyer and an accountant kind of working with you hand in hand, arm in arm to work through the process with you is definitely vital, because, one misstep can set you back, a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months of setting up your business.
And it can cost you money, Karen.
Yes.
Some people try to do things on their own without a lawyer, and it ends up costing them so much money and so many headaches. I like to tell my clients that having a good lawyer is a preventive measure instead of having a lawyer for corrective measures only.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, we've gone to Tasha. Everything is set up. Our product, our service, is flourishing. We want to build, we want to do better. And, there's so many opportunities that many don't know about. So I would like to pull both Camille and Carolyn into the conversation to talk about, contracts and opportunities. Where do you go to research and solidify city contracts and state contracts here in Indiana?
Well, one thing I would like to add to the previous conversation is when you are setting up your business, if you are considering being certified with the city of Indianapolis, with organizations like Mid-States, you want to make sure that you have at least 51% minority ownership in your entity, that the initial investments from your partners speak to that that ownership, because that is very important. That is one of the major things that we see, is that individuals may have investment from a majority owner that is not holding themselves out as the MBE. So if you're interested in being certified as an MBE, for us, we certify minorities, women, veteran, and disabled owned businesses. So if you're interested in being certified as one of those things, you need to make sure that when you're setting up your company, that initial investment and that your partnerships actually reflect what you would like to be certified as. So I would just add that to the conversation in getting your business ready to go to market. But for opportunities with the city of Indianapolis, once you become certified with our office, we send out bid opportunities. You also get bid opportunities from our city purchasing division. You can also go out to their website and see a listing of what city bid opportunities are available. We do also send out bid notices from private entities that are looking for individuals to be subcontractors, and we do that for the state as well as private entities. So there are a whole host of places where you can get that information, but the first step is being certified with the city of Indianapolis, because we're going to provide a lot of resources to you that you may not get on your own. And so we try to make it as easy as possible for you to access that, to get that information at your fingertips, and to be ready to bid on those opportunities.
All right. Now, once again, you have everything in place, you're certified, you want to start bidding. What's the process?
Well, I think that has been a huge challenge for a lot of people. So there have been a lot more opportunities coming out, and we as a city are holding our prime contract holders a lot more accountable for the utilization of our minority and diverse businesses. So we are, people are seeing a lot more bids come out, and the question we get is, well, I don't know how to bid. How do I bid on city opportunities? Our city purchasing division does offer bid workshops where they teach you how to bid on city work. You want to make sure that you understand that process, because it is the city. You can do a public records request and look at previous bids and see what they look like, see winning bids. How can I structure my bid like theirs? You will need to figure out how to price your business, how to make sure that you are going to make money on an opportunity. You don't want to underbid just to get in the door. You don't want to overbid to try to make more money. You want to be right in that sweet spot. So learning how to do that is very important. So I do recommend doing those bid workshops. And then also you can schedule business consultations with individuals in our office that can help with that process as well.
When you talked about the bid workshops, is there a URL to go to research that? And then what do they entail?
Yes, that is if you go to the City of Indianapolis website, that is indy.gov. If you type in the search bar, city purchasing, all of the information regarding those bid workshops and the listing of bid opportunities will be accessible on that particular website. For our office, if you type in the Office of Minority and Women Business Development, or OMWBD, you can go to our site and see different workshops that we're offering, which include bidding, making good faith efforts, how to get certified. So we do quarterly certification workshops to teach people how to become certified with our office. So again, all of that is accessible on our website.
And how often are they? Are they weekly, monthly, quarterly?
The certification workshops are every other month. And we try to, but if you have questions at any time, a business owner can call our office and set up a one-on-one to go through the application step by step, and we can help you with that prior to you submitting that to our office for review. So we are able to help you walk through that process, because a lot of people are very intimidated by our certification documents, and they shouldn't be, because if you've done everything right, if you've set up your business correctly, you're ready to go. You really are. And it's just a matter of sitting down and taking the time to fill out the paperwork and submit the appropriate documents. There's a whole complete checklist that's included that can provide that information for you. So, but if you do feel nervous or anxious about it, we can walk you through it step by step. You just call the office and set up a time, and we're happy to do that. And that's free of charge. All of that is a free service.
That was my next question. Was it free? So that's great, guys. Free information is always good, always good. Carolyn, was there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, so I'll just add that, our certification processes are pretty similar. Even though they're separate certifications, the process to get certification isn't that much difference between the city, the state, and then my organization, which is a private organization. The one difference for us is that we only certify ethnic minority businesses. So if you're African American, Hispanic, Asian American, or Native American, those are the ethnicities that we certify for our organization. And so from a certification perspective, those would be the type of minority businesses that would certify through us.
Okay, excellent. So, let me ask you this, how do we as minorities become not only part of the process, yet benefit from the process and receiving these contracts and being a part of the bid and actually flourishing with that?
I mean, I would say that I always tell minority businesses that you need to approach this the same way you approach anything else with your business. You need to do research. You need to determine who your customer or your potential customer is. All business isn't good business. So if you are thinking about your strategy and who you're targeting, who your target customers are, that's part of the research process. If you're interested in doing business with corporate America, then you would absolutely want to engage with my organization and get certified with my organization. If you don't have an interest in doing business with corporate America and your potential customer is not a major corporation or a regional or local corporation that has a supplier diversity program, then I would say you wouldn't need to be certified with us. But it's really based upon who you're trying to do business with, and then understanding if your potential customer is XYZ Corporation, do they even have a supplier diversity program? Do they require certification? If so, which ones do they accept? So the last thing I think that a business wants to do is spend all that time getting certified and do all that paperwork and then find out the certification they have isn't even honored by the corporation they're trying to do business with, or they don't even have a program, they don't even know about supplier diversity, and doesn't even matter. So research is huge. And so just like you research the type of business that you want to go into, or you should at least, and who your potential customers are, you should also figure out, is certification right for me? Because certification may not be right for your business, and that's okay. With our certification process, there is a fee for certification, and it's based on the size of your business. And so we classify our businesses in 4 categories. And so class 1 would be a company that has less than $1 million in revenue. Class 2 would be $1 million to $10 million. Class 3 would be 10 to 50 million. And then class 4 would be 50 million and above. And so one of the things that we tell people is, yes, you might have to pay $450 or $950, but if that is difficult for you, the chances of you being able to get a multi-million-dollar contract with a major corporation is pretty slim if $450 is a stretch for your business. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't encourage you to get certified and there's not value in that certification, because we do training and development for our minority businesses, but the expectation should not be that as soon as you get certified, that means all these contracts are going to start falling out of the sky.
Right.
The floodgates do not open up because
it's all a process. It's all a process. For the 3 of you ladies, especially in wrapping up 2020 and various businesses that did not thrive and those that were launched and did, or business owners that are pivoting their business, in your expertise, what businesses are thriving right now? What businesses that recently launched are thriving, or that you've seen in your experience that are thriving? What types of businesses?
I would just say in general, what I've seen are businesses that have figured out how to pivot and shift, and businesses that did not rely on just one main customer. So that's sort of big picture. So when you talk about diversification of your customer base, if you never did it before, 2020 taught you that you need to be able to do that. We have some minority businesses, to be quite honest with you, that are multi-million-dollar companies, but their main customer, they have one main customer that they, do 90% of their business with. Well, in 2020, that could have really affected their business. So if they didn't have the ability to shift and to pivot and to think creatively and outside of the box, then they could have found themselves in a very difficult situation.
Yeah.
I've represented a lot of restaurants, and for my clients in the restaurant field that have really thrived, they said, you know what? I know that we cannot have as many people in the restaurant as we used to. And they are open to the fact of having food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Food trucks, they don't have as much overhead as they used to. The people come to them. You have your social distancing or takeout and getting on the web, delivery. So for my clients who were willing to put themselves out and say, you know what, we have to get out of the traditional business model of having a dine-in restaurant and not being afraid to either go to a food truck or going to delivery, they're thriving right now.
And I think for the city of Indianapolis, the businesses that we're seeing doing well are construction related. So I would say the majority of the opportunities that come from the city of Indianapolis will be construction related for the most part. And, we really need more construction management firms. We need just more firms that can provide work on in road construction, signage, things of that nature. So we didn't stop working. The city of Indianapolis didn't stop any contracts. We continue to move forward and work. And so those opportunities have not slowed down. We actually saw a lot of people who were working in the private sector shift towards trying to work with the city because we did continue to work and build and continue to do our ordinary activities. So I would say construction is a great place to be for the city of Indianapolis. And then that expands outside of the city of Indianapolis because a lot of municipalities are in need of construction companies.
Nice. So there are companies that are thriving, during this time and doing well. And then to your point, everyone here, there are many that had to pivot and shift. And, speaking of that pivot and shift and transition, how can one take advantage of the PPE opportunities here in the city of Indianapolis?
I would say the best way from my perspective is to reach out to the Indy Chamber. The Indy Chamber is one of the entities that is doing the PPP loans, specifically the Business Ownership Initiative. If you reach out to them, they can provide you with all of the information needed to apply for that program. We have seen a lot of people be successful with obtaining those particular loans. So that would be my personal recommendation as to where to start.
Okay.
Yeah, we have several banking partners that are part of our organization that are processing the loans, whether you're a client or not of the bank. And then we also have a partnership with Bankable, Old National Bank, and Wells Fargo, where they're actually doing loans directly to certified minority businesses, not just small businesses, but these are minority-owned businesses. One of the loan programs is 8% interest and the other one is 3% interest. So we do have those programs. And then we also have a certification assistance program. So if you're a business and you can't afford your certification because of the pandemic, we have corporations that have contributed several $1,000s to cover those certification fees for 2020 and 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And also, once you've structured your business and you have employees, I would recommend that you have a payroll service, because if you have a payroll service, they can help you apply for the PPP loans. And if they already know what your business structure is, they already know how many employees you have. So if you have a payroll service, it's just a matter of clicking, downloading, and signing to apply for the PPP loan.
Right, because all the information is right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ladies, is there anything that you would like to add in addition to various opportunities that one can take advantage of, as they're building their business and structuring their business and seeking those opportunities that are going to help their business?
For me, I would say don't be afraid to take the classes and that we offer. I know a lot of times people are so focused on making money and getting and bidding and getting to those opportunities, but there may be things that you are not doing well within your business. So they may be helpful to you, they may be beneficial to you. So I do recommend taking time out of your schedule to try to participate. It's also a good way to meet other business owners and to meet prime contract holders when we, as an office, offer opportunities. So I would continue to encourage people to do that. Be ready to bid. Always be ready to bid. And like I said, request to look at previous bid documents so that you can structure your bid in a way that is ready to win.
Yeah, use it as a template.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then, mold it to you and your business. Carolyn, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say, for us, I would say building relationships and taking advantage of the different tools that we have available. Once you get certified with us, we offer a 90 days to engagement plan that lays out what you should do. So now you're certified, now what? And we give you steps that you should follow over the next 90 days that really lead you into being successful as a certified minority business. We also, like I said, do lots of training and development. But the relationship piece is really key because I can't tell you how many times I've been in Walmart over the years on a Saturday and I'll run into a minority business in, one of the aisles and they're like, really upset because they didn't get a contract with a particular corporation. Well, if I had known about that in the engagement process, when you were seeking to have the conversation about an opportunity, when you bid on an opportunity, if I know that, my staff and I can kind of follow that engagement to make sure that the minority business is given, proper consideration. But I can't do anything about it when I see you in Walmart and it's already been let and you didn't get the contract. So relationships with us, staying engaged with us after you're certified, but then also building those relationships with the corporations as well.
Nice. All great points, ladies. All great points. There's a part of business that sometimes is difficult to talk about, and it's the legal hurdles with business. What are some of the common legal hurdles that you guys have seen in your path through helping those set up their business and do well? But there's 9 times out of 10. There's something that's going to happen, right? And you need to rely on your lawyer. Tasha, what can you add in regards to some of the legal hurdles?
Sure. One of the biggest hurdles I've seen is where a business does not have a contract or written agreement. You cannot rely on what David said he was going to do. You have to have a contract or written agreement because that is proof of what the parties expect from one another. And if those expectations are not met, what the consequences are.
Now, I understand that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add that for me, I was going to say that one of the things that I see is changes in ownership of a company. So when you're certified with us, you have to get recertified with us every year. Sometimes there's changes in ownership. One of the partners may pass away or they may sell their interest in the business and they don't let us know. And so that's one of the requirements is that if there's changes in ownership, even if it happens, midway between your certification, you need to let us know that there's been changes because that obviously changes the structure of your business. It could change whether or not you're able to continue being certified or not. So that's one of the ones that we see.
I would agree with that, but I would also add that one of the things that we see frequently is companies signing bad contracts. We highly recommend that you have an attorney with your best interest in mind to review the contract for you. Do not sign bad contracts just because you were hungry to get on a job or an opportunity. We see that so much where individuals are pretty much upside down in a contract because they agree to provide a service for well under what they should have. And now their hands are tied because they signed an agreement and said that they would provide this service for that low cost. And they're actually not even breaking even. So I hate to see that. I hate to see people in those situations. And every single time I know that they have not let an attorney review the contract. They have signed bad contracts. I've literally had this happen in the last couple of months to a couple of different companies. And there's very little that my office can do besides recommend that you reach out and contact an attorney.
And I would say that, people forget that those contracts are often written by lawyers. So unless you are a lawyer, it's going to be cheaper in the long run if you just have a lawyer look at it and break it down into English. Because unless you're fluent in legalese, you're going to have a headache, Karen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. One can get actual legal insurance for their business. What is the process and is it worth it? Of course, we know it's worth it, but what is the process?
Well, your lawyer can usually direct you to an insurance company based on what type of business you have. But I cannot say enough, insurance, 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 insurance. I have so many clients who thought that they were saving money by not having insurance, and then it's costing them a lot of money. Also, if you have employees, you have to have workers' comp insurance. If you do not have that and you go before the board of workers' comp in Indiana, you could be fined treble damages. Nobody wants that. So I say talk to a lawyer, have that lawyer refer you to a particular insurance company that can cover your type of business, because a lot of people don't understand. They say, you know what, I'm spending this money for insurance, but I'm not getting anything out of it. But if there's liability, a lot of times in those insurance policies, they will either pay your lawyer directly or reimburse you for your legal costs.
Nice. Now, the unfortunate thing of having a claim, against your company can be daunting as well. What is one's, first steps and top 3 steps that they should do, if they have a claim against their business?
Number 1 is don't panic. Number 2, make an appointment with the lawyer and make sure that you can work well with that lawyer. As I said, we lawyers, we all have different bedside manners. So you want to feel comfortable with your lawyer. Then make sure you have all the paperwork. A lot of people say, well, lawyers are so expensive, but we really are there to help you, so that we ask that you be open and honest with us and bring us everything that you have. And then that way we can guide you through the process and everything will be okay.
Carolyn or Camille, with both of your organizations, how do you help those that you work with, those that connect with you in their businesses when it comes to legal claims?
Really, as I mentioned earlier, there's not much that my office in particular can do for entities when they have these kinds of things happen. We can steer them in the right direction. Maybe they may have an issue that needs to go before the Equal Opportunity Board, or they need to file a claim with the EEOC. There may be various things that they need. So we can steer them in the right direction, but we do not provide legal advice, and we cannot help them in that regard. But we will make recommendations as to what you need to do. Reach out to an attorney, reach out to your insurance company, contact the Equal Opportunity Board, file a claim. Those kinds of things.
Yeah, we would, same for us. We wouldn't offer any type of legal advice, but we would certainly direct them to attorneys as well. But because our corporations actually pay us a fee to be members of our organization, and because we have relationships, sometimes we can help to facilitate conversations with the parties internally, but still would strongly recommend that they have legal representation, because we do have the relationship with the corporations that they may have the issue with, but we would not offer any legal expertise but we would direct them to an attorney.
And I would say, Karen, let the lawyers take the stress off the small business.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what we do.
Yes. I always tell people, when you have a business, you really need to be surrounded by a team of experts to help you. That should include an attorney, an accountant, maybe HR professional. These are not things that you possibly woke up one day knowing all of these things.
Exactly.
You need to surround yourself with the people who that is their expertise. And that's going to help you have a successful business. That's going to save you money and make you money.
Right.
That's right.
And that's one of the things that we, I've actually seen this, where we have minority businesses that may have been started by, that was started by the founder of the company 25 years ago. And when he or she started the business, it was just them working in the basement. They were the everything, and they grew the business. And now it's a multi-million-dollar company, but they're still running it like they're in the basement. And so they have not evolved from a business perspective as it relates to having that team that Camille referenced. And I actually, it was funny, but not funny, but we did a workshop about 3 or 4 years ago with about 10 minority businesses. And these were all companies that were in excess of $10 million. And we actually brought a law firm in to talk to them about HR law. And as the attorney went through all these things that they should know and have in place, everybody was on their phone, like emailing their office back, like, oh my gosh, like we're so exposed. And so that was just an example of, they were growing their business, but they did not have the business structure and the team in place that they really needed to have to support that growth.
Yeah, that I'm glad Camille and all of you brought this up. That was my next question, to really have your team or your panel, again, walking arm in arm with you from HR to your lawyer to an accountant, someone that will handle marketing and PR for you. There's just, really vital arms of your business that, we're so ingrained in our business and our baby and our product or our service that these other arms sometimes we neglect, not intentionally, but you're just really focused in on your business, knowing that you need help, but you just don't know where to go.
Right, exactly.
For that help.
So I think one thing that people have seen or should have seen with the whole pandemic last year is that every business needs a crisis plan. In a former life, I was a crisis manager. And when I would talk to people about that, they were like, yeah, we'll never use it. I don't need it. Well, no, you don't need it until you need it. And so yourself in the midst of a crisis, you need to understand how to respond in that crisis. And that's everything from running the business to responding to customers to dealing with your employees. Like, everybody needs a plan. Get the plan, put it on the shelf, hope you never have to use it. But putting a plan together in the midst of the crisis, that's not the time to do it. And so if you didn't do one in 2020 and you didn't learn that, I strongly suggest that every business look at putting a crisis plan together.
Exactly. And to comment on what Camille said, I tell my clients, when Biden won the White House, he didn't go straight to the White House. He had a team to transition him to the White House. So you need a team to help you structure your business for those opportunities that will come to you. You need that team. And I also say too, don't try to do it by yourself, because you're going to get overwhelmed. You wouldn't do heart surgery on yourself. You get a cardiologist, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Having your team.
I do also recommend business owners have a mentor, maybe someone who has a similar business or can offer you some guidance as you are new to the industry. Someone that can tell you best practices and things to do, what not to do, what landmines to avoid, what companies you shouldn't work with, what companies you should work with, what is standard practice on a job site, those kinds of things that you just, again, don't wake up knowing. You need to have someone that's in your corner that can help you navigate this, because it's extremely important. As a small company on a job site, you've never done it before, it can be very unnerving not to know, am I being mistreated? Is this how it's supposed to happen? Is this the way these things go? You need someone to be a sounding board for you so that you can talk through these things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you, all three of you, for being in the corner of our listeners and our viewers now, because this has been vital information. I know everyone has been taking notes. And of course, we'll watch this over and over again because Tasha, Camille, and Carolyn, this has been amazing chatting with you about structuring your business for opportunities. Lots of opportunities and great information given today. And just thank you all for being here. And before we wrap up, I would love for each of you, we'll go from Carolyn to Camille to Tasha here, the way you guys are set up on my panel here. Just where one can find you online, and if they have more questions for you, I would love for you to let everyone know your contact information.
So my organization has a long name and a really difficult to say email address. So I just say Google Mid-States Minority Supplier Development Council. Click on the link. That'll take you to our website. It has all of our contact information, and our certification process is done 100% online. So that's where you would go to also begin the certification process.
For myself, you can reach me at Camille, CAMILLE.blunt@ndindy.gov. You can also call our office directly. It's 317-327-5262 at any time. Also access our website. Again, all of our programming is there. Our list of certified vendors is also included on that website. And then I recommend looking at our city purchasing website for bid opportunities.
And you can reach me at my telephone number, 317-631-0172, or you can shoot me an email at troberts@robertslitigation.com.
Thank you again, ladies, for helping us structuring our business for great opportunities, for grand opportunities. We're going to put it out there, and we're going to put our name and put our stakes down in that for, the community of Indianapolis to be great in everything that they do when it comes to their small business or thriving large business. Thank you again for joining us. This has been our virtual business connections powered by INHP. Ladies, thank you again for being here, and we'll be calling on you again for sure.